and I'd like to share this with you at the beginning of the board meeting. It is important Board of Education meetings are structured and efficient so to allow the board to properly address the set agenda items in a civil and respectful manner. While New York state law does not require boards of education to have a public comment period, this Board of Education finds civil and respectful public input to be valuable and important. To promote this, the following structures have been put in place related to the public input portion of the agenda. First, public input will be at the end of the agenda. This allows the board to address all agenda items in a timely manner and does not discourage or unduly delay members of the public who are attending related to the agenda items if the meeting agenda is significantly delayed due to individuals speaking to the board about non-agenda items. Second, we will set a total time limit of 30 minutes for the public input, with 20 minutes dedicated to agenda items and 10 minutes to non-agenda items. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. A request to make public comment sheet for those wishing to participate in public comment is located on a table upon walking into the meeting, and when completed, given to the board clerk. Additionally, you may contact the board clerk at 315-697-2025 to sign up for public comment in advance. Concerns about individual students or staff are not to be made at public comment. If you have such concerns, the board clerk or superintendent will provide you with how and to whom you should share your concerns. If a member of the public wishes to address the board, but the time allotment expires for public input, the person may write to the board by sending any comments to the board clerk, or they may sign up to speak at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Finally, the Board of Education will listen to public comment, but not immediately respond to the speaker. This is so the board has time to fully review any questions or claims and respond as appropriate. Thank you. Routine matters. The board minutes, treasurer's report, and CSE. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Staff recognition, staff spotlight.
All right, this is something we really have enjoyed over the last several months. It's a new thing that's been introduced, but it gives us an opportunity to take a step back and say thank you to people who've done a lot of great things for students at our school. So in continuing that, we want to recognize recipients for the month of March. So I think Miss Carnahan is going to start us off with our first recipient.
So just shy of 10 years ago, this talented, born to be a teacher, student from Katrina Mercer in second grade at Southside as Miss Brianna Torres. The following fall, we scooped her up to fulfill a long-term sub-job in second grade for Becky Van Michelle. Luckily, we were able to hire her the following year to teach first grade at Peterborough Street, where she has been doing amazing things ever since. Bree is talented and devoted. She's a natural in the classroom and has taken on many leadership roles in the building over the years. She has served on many committees and is currently a first grade level representative and heads up the Sunshine Committee for the building, performing both roles with enthusiasm and passion for years. Bree is savvy with technology and is often the go-to person for those who need help with their interactive displays or their laptops. She was a tremendous resource to us all during the pandemic when Google Classroom was prohibited. Bree prioritizes relationships and makes connections with her students outside of the classroom, often frequenting football, soccer games, and even wrestling tournaments. Mrs. Briggs enthusiastically hosts our English language learners in first grade and is always striving to do more and better, and would do anything to help a child succeed. Her car is one of the first in the parking lot very early each and every morning, and her classroom is neat and orderly, bright and inviting, truly a place students can't wait to be and don't want to leave. Bree is a lifelong learner who is always reading and asking questions and taking graduate classes to further her knowledge and bag of tricks in order to help her students succeed, not only in the classroom, but in life and the world around them. I could go on and on about this amazing teacher, but her colleagues have some special things to say too. Bree has been invaluable to me since I came to PSES. She is kind, selfless, and always willing to collaborate and share ideas. She is positive and a total team player. She makes each day enjoyable. Bree is always advocating for and striving to best accommodate her students' needs. She is always touching base on shared students, sharing anecdotes, student performance, and brainstorming ways to serve their progress. Not to mention that she is just about the sweetest person around. Bree is kind, nurturing, accepting of all people, generous, loving, supportive, a giving soul, optimistic, and genuinely fun to be around. Mrs. Riggs is one of my favorite people to work and collaborate with. She cares about all of her students' social and emotional needs, along with their academics. She is a great communicator and a natural at teaching. Bree is flexible and willing to do anything a staff member suggests to help her classroom or students. She is kind and finds the good in all people, students and staff alike. I am so proud of her and happy to know and work with her. So in summary, to know Brianna Riggs is to love her, and we are so grateful for her and lucky to have her here making a positive difference with staff, with students, and their families. She's the epitome of a professional and truly an amazing colleague and person. So congratulations.
We all want to stand over there again?
Sure.
The certificate.
Sorry. I worked at my house. I actually think I guess it today. Jenny first. Oh, sorry. I jumped right in there.
Congratulations to Bree, and a job well done. And as Ms. Carnahan said, we're very happy to have her part of our team. So speaking of team, you want to talk about somebody who's been a part of a team for a long time, literally decades and decades, and a long time. So we have a chance tonight. I don't want to. I should stop saying all the decades. I was saying it in a good way, But today we have a chance to recognize a true legend, not only in Canastota, but in the whole entire state. And so I went to our resident sports historian at Canastota, Mr. Congdon, and he's going to do the honor of introducing our next honoree. So.
And it is an honor to present Coach of the Spotlight staff member for this month. Marshall Laidlaw, we refer to her as Coach. Everybody knows her as Coach. I apologize if this goes a bit long, but trying to narrow everything down to decades of excellence, Coach, that you have was not easy. So,
He said it that time, not me.
decades of excellence. So, this year's volleyball team was 17-3, and they earned the #1 seed in Class B sectionals and won a league championship. This was Coach Laidlaw's 41st time that she has coached volleyball team champion in Canastota. This year, the expectations, I always had high expectations. I don't know how everyone else felt, but she lost all of her starters last year. So not a single person returning was a starter. So as the old saying goes, especially Canastota volleyball, they don't rebuild, they reload. Just briefly, like I said, I'll try and go quick, but briefly touch on her background. She graduated from Governor High School, which is in northern New York. At that time, there were not many opportunities for girls to participate in athletics in high school. Coach said she did participate in basketball and bowling at Governor. And back then, the way you got to join a team was if you displayed some talent in physical education, they would pick you to be on a team. You may get one practice for that team back then. You could play another team in the North Country. If you lost, you were done. So that was her high school sports background. After graduating from Governor, she went to Jefferson Community College. As a freshman at Jefferson Community College, she started an intramural sports program for the girls. Her second year at Jefferson Community College, they established a girls basketball team. Coach participated on the first women's basketball team at Jefferson Community College. After graduating from Jefferson Community College, she went on to SUNY Brockport to study physical education, played basketball, and field hockey at Brockport. She graduated from Brockport and started teaching at Canastota in February of 1972. Coach taught physical education at Canastota for 34 years before retiring in 2004. At Canastota, she has coached a total of 13 boys and girls sports at the modified, JV, and varsity levels. I will highlight her varsity college coaching. Didn't know this, but coached varsity track from 1972 to 1976 and had an overall record of 31-12. She coached girls varsity field hockey from 1972 to 1998 and again from 2011-2015. Her overall record in field hockey was 292, 141, and 74. She coached 9 field hockey league championship teams, 3 field hockey section 3 championship teams. She also coached girls varsity softball at Canastota from 1977 to 1982, and again from 1985 to 1994. Her career varsity softball record was 195 and 117. She coached 4 league softball championship teams, 3 section 3 championship teams, 1 regional championship team, and her 1998 team reached the state semifinals. As we know, she has coached girls volleyball here at Canastota from 1973 to 2004 and 2007 to the present. Her overall record in volleyball is 897 wins with 110 losses. 897 wins are the most in Section 3 history. As I stated earlier, she has won 41 league volleyball championships. She has also won 18 Section 3 volleyball championships and 9 regional volleyball championships. She was instrumental with establishing boys volleyball in the Tri-Valley League in here at Canastota, and also coached boys volleyball at Canastota. Her record as a boys volleyball coach was 73-48, and her teams won 2 league championships. Her combined win total at Canastota as a varsity coach is an astonishing 1,488 wins. She has won a total of 56 league championships, 24 Section 3 championships, and 10 regional championships. Amazing career here at Canastota. She was also a college coach. She coached girls volleyball at Mohawk Valley Community College from 1999 to 2008. Her overall record was 236, 84, and 9. And during her 9 years at Mohawk Valley, her teams won 7 Mountain Valley Conference championships, 2 NJCA Region 3 championships, and competed at the National Junior College Championships in 2003 and 2004. She was named Mountain Valley Coach of the Year 6 times and named Region 3 Coach of the Year 4 times. Some other noteworthy recognitions for Coach Laidlaw. She had the yearbook dedicated to her 4 times. In 1969, she won the Jefferson Community College Outstanding Athlete Award. In 2001, she was the New York State Class C Softball Coach of the Year. In 2004, she was awarded the Rotary Club Roses to the Living Award. In 2006, she was inducted to the Section 3 Volleyball Hall of Fame. In 2007, the middle school gym was named after her. Also in 2007, she was awarded the Charles Miller Post 140 Canastota Distinguished Citizen of the Year Award. In 2009, she was part of the first induction class to the Jefferson Community College Hall of Fame. In 2012, she was awarded the Syracuse Sports Corporation Lead to Achieve for volleyball. In 2015, she was awarded the National Federation of High School Coaches Association New York State Coach of the Year Award in volleyball. In 2022, she was awarded the Lions Club Robert J. Uplinger Distinguished Service Award. And this year, she was inducted into the New York State Volleyball Coach Association Hall of Fame. When I asked Coach Laidlaw what she liked about Canastota, her response was, "I was born and raised in a small town similar to Canastota. I like how the community of Canastota comes to the aid of their own in the time of need. I have been blessed with the family of Canastota, and Canastota is my family. Coach Laylaw, it's the Canastota community that's really blessed. You have touched so many students' lives, athletes, coaches, staff members, colleagues. We're the ones that are blessed. Thank you, and it's my honor to recognize Coach Laylaw for our staff spotlight member of the month.
Ask the board to come over. Say Jennifer. Yeah, he said he. It's like see Mr. Sansfield. There you go. Perfect. We gotta make sure we see it.
Sort of tough to follow that up. And sort of making it tough for us to continue with the agenda.
Yeah. And just as a sideline, I coached with that woman for a good number of years and had a classroom next to her study hall. A lot of memories. Presentations. Summary of the last FFA state leadership experience overnight in Albany, February 5th and 6th. And I think Mrs. Benor is here as well as some of our young people.
Hello, I am Mackenzie Cordell. I am the chapter's president.
Hi, I'm Riley Rutherford. I am the vice president of the Canastota FFA chapter.
So while we were at Albany, the first day was completely focused on teaching us how the government was formatted, how everything worked, and how everything was set up so it could flow smoothly. We also did many team building activities and spent time with state officers and many other members around the state, learning about topics that are really big in the ag industry that we can talk about the following day in our meetings. As well as doing all this, we had a bunch of guest speakers come talk to us about how we were the future of ag and what we can do to help our communities out. And then we, later that night, had dinner with all these people that talked with us, had new members come sit with us, got to learn a lot about different parts of our state. On the second day, we took a tour of the Capitol. This is me and Riley in the Senate chambers. It was really cool to see everything in there. While we were in there, we went over the history of everything in there, how it was built, how everything was taken into account with why it was built the way it was and where everything was positioned and why it was positioned there. And then same thing, we're over in the assembly chamber doing the same thing, learning about how everything is set up, why it was set up that way, and just how everything is formatted so everything can go smoothly and there'll be no problems along the way. So in this picture, we are on our way to the governor's office. This was on our tour. We got to see pretty much the whole Capitol. It was so cool what we got to see, how everything was put together, and just the different interesting things that were in there, from murals to artwork to just the different people that were in there that we got to meet. And this is just a picture of one of the hallways with the different lightings. And it felt like every hallway you turned down was different. There was never the same design, never the same light fixture. Flooring was always different, there was always a different view.
So our second day in Albany, we woke up bright and early and we went right over to the state capitol. And the first thing we did was have a donut reception with the governor of New York State, and we even got to take a nice picture with her. We talked to her and many other important people that helped New York State, and they talked about their history in agriculture and their knowledge in agriculture and their background in agriculture. After that, we did take our tour, and we got to see lots of things around the Capitol, and it was actually really great. As Mackenzie was saying, every hallway we turned was different. And then after our tour, we went right over to Joe Griffo's office with multiple other FFA members around the state, and we talked about what we're looking for as FFA members in FFA and what we're looking for as future agriculturists. After we went to Joe Griffo's office, we headed right on to Brian D. Miller's office, and we got to film a podcast with him actually for his podcast that he has. And that was also really cool. We talked to him about the same thing. We talked to him about, as FFA members, what we expect in the future of agriculture in our FFA and what we're looking for in the future of ag. So this is us in Joe Griffo's office. As you can see, there's multiple other FFA members from other chapters with us. And then up here, this is me and Mackenzie, and we took a picture next to Joe Griffo's office. This one we're in Brian D. Miller's office, and this is actually right after we filmed, this is as we're filming the podcast, which was very cool. And then this is us at the donut reception talking to the governor. And I just thought that was personally really cool because it's not every day that you meet the governor.
Any questions?
Any questions?
For myself?
Do it again? Yes, no?
No?
You're going somewhere else, right? They want to go to Buffalo?
Yeah, the state convention is in May. Riley is competing this weekend and trying to qualify in her competition to go to the state convention, along with another student, and possibly some other students will be going as well.
Sounds like you represented us very well.
What is the category that she's trying to qualify in?
I'm doing junior FFA creed speaking, and that is a 5-paragraph speech about our beliefs in FFA in the future of agriculture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We now have Valerie Ray and Chris Mastriano.
You said it right.
And they're going to update us on our esports program.
Our esports program, yes. And, you know, I mean, we've been going, how many weeks now?
Feels like longer than it actually has been.
Yeah, so I would say probably about 5 weeks.
5 or
Say
6.
about 5 or 6 weeks. So we're really just getting into the nuts and bolts of putting this team together. And I just wanted to say that this is just the beginning. There's a lot of good stuff that's happening with our students here. Okay, so again, I'm Valerie Ray. I'm a business teacher for those of you that don't know who I am here in the district. And
My name's Chris Mastriano. This is my first official position for the high school. I'm also the AYSO soccer coach for 12U boys, and I work for FedEx Ground Corporate during the day.
And you are like one of the best coaches to work with. So go ahead. Okay, so what we've really been doing, at this moment we have the games available that the students are practicing on, learning to compete. It's Rocket League, Overwatch 2, and Splatoon 3. What we've actually done is we put our teams together. We have 9 through 12, but we also have quite a few number of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So we've put them kind of into their appropriate category. So at 9 through 12, here's our competing. We have competitions, or we have teams that are built for Rocket League. We have teams that are built for Watch 2. And actually, we've got 3 different layers, but we do have a powerhouse team put together for each of those games. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
So with the development of the teams, what we wanted to do is really put the power in charge of the kids. So what we did was we took 2 leaders that are actual students that are pretty much the top players that we have out of the entire group. And I came to them and I said, I need you to form the teams. I know quite a bit about video games. I still play to this day. Have been since the Atari 2600. But I am not the greatest at these games. These kids would knock me out of the water very, very quickly, very, very easily. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to start building on some of those secondary skills that we really want to focus on. Not just the gaming, but now we have Caden and Nathan working on leadership skills and mentoring as well, which we're going to touch on in a little bit. So my request from them was form 2 balanced teams that could face off against one another to build upon the skills that they already have, and then build our powerhouse team, which we hope to be the competition team in the fall against other schools. That I was going to say.
Okay, so this is just a typical example of when we first meet in the game room. At 3 o'clock, we usually try to take about 10-15 minutes just to pull the students together and kind of just whatever it is that we want to accomplish for the day, or whatever it is that we want to talk to them about for the day, we pull them together like I said. As you can see, we've got Coach Beard over here at the board. We've got a lot of different notes going on, and I'll show you exactly what it is that we actually talk about. But the kids are really good about this. I mean, they're soaking it all up. I mean, it's just all aspects. It's not just gaming that we're focusing on. I'll go to the next picture. So here's just a couple pictures. We've got, I don't know what's happening here. We've got three students who are actually playing one game right here.
Yes.
Okay, and then we have a couple of the other ones who are on different PCs. What games are they playing on this one?
Let's see here. So this was a team, what we like to do, because Rocket League for one game, for those of you that don't know the game, it's basically soccer with cars. That's all. That's really all it is. There's a ball, you drive a car around, and you hit it into the other person's goal. Very simple process. This was, it's 3 versus 3. That's the way the competition is set up. So this picture here is 3 of the players on one side of the room playing against 3 other players on the other side of the room.
Okay, so this is kind of like the bread and butter of what we're really doing. Not only are we talking about team playing, we're talking about soft skills, we're talking about kids who are working on communication skills and those things that they kind of really need to develop while they're in school so that they're career ready when they leave. But there are other things that we're also bringing into this. We have students who are interested in doing some sort of marketing. We have social media. We have Twitch. You can explain that one. We have our leadership team, our mentor group, which is something that I'm really excited about because we have our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders can mentor up with some of the high school kids and just really kind of start working with the kids as far as learning how to, I guess, lose gracefully and those kind of soft skills. When you've got the younger ones, we try to make sure that they aren't blurting things out and and that they're acting appropriately when they are playing. So that mentor group is really important. We also have casters and graphic design team. We have a couple students. Well, let me backtrack just a little bit. I wanted to make sure that this had a focus on career development because this gaming thing is so huge that there are so many possible careers that can stem out of this particular gaming, I guess, environment. And a lot of these are the ones that, we kind of wanted to focus on, but we also have a lot of students who, like I said, are interested in doing some of these things besides just gaming. So, we talk about our graphic design team. We have a couple students who are seniors this year that are really very artistic. They want to actually, do some mural designs, things like that. We got students who are interested in designing the jerseys, maybe someday down the road that we'll have. And sometimes they would rather do that than actually go and sit at the machines and actually play. So it's really interesting to see the skills and to see the interests of some of these students. I mean, we have, 23, 24 students together, all together. That's 6 through 12. And it's just, like I said, it's really interesting to see where their interests lie, and so that we can bring those pieces into this particular gaming event and gaming team. The other thing too, this is just an elite picture for elite gaming, but the other thing too is that, this really sets us up for micro-credentialing as far as some of the things that they're going to be doing for the actual team itself. So I know this is something I'm going to be working on, with Liz Garofalo on during the summer, that kind of thing. So hopefully we can get the badging put together, and the students who are on the team, whatever it is that they're doing, they're going to also be able to earn badges to put on their resumes and take with them wherever they go. So it'll be great.
To me, this is the most exciting piece of this, because the esports team is brand new. We're building this program however we want. This will highlight just how dynamic this program can be. This isn't just players sitting in a console or a PC playing the game. We have kids that are interested in going into voice acting as a career path. Those are our casters. Think of those like NFL commentators. Same principle, just a little bit of a different name. Our graphic design team, not very good at games. They've admitted that to me. Okay, not a problem. Doesn't mean you can't be a part of the team.
Right.
They're going to be designing flyers for possible competitions that we might be doing. Again, the jerseys that we would like to get eventually. They are going to be doing a mural. We have a whole program set up for that. So the graphic design team, anybody that wants to get in on that's interested, this is a great opportunity for them to, really putting that on your resume. I was a part of a team. There are scholarships available for all this. SU has a 4-year program
Yes.
alone for
Yes.
esports communication and management, among other colleges. So my excitement comes from this, not really playing the games. That's the kids' excitement. Mine is the opportunities that kids like this might not normally have the ability to have access to, because they're not a good basketball player, football player, field hockey. This gives a lot of other kids great opportunities to expand their career paths, learn those soft skills that Valerie's talking about.
I don't know if you want to explain this one?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll take this one. I'll step over here because then I can actually see it. So everything that we just had listed on that previous slide, this is what it turned into right here. Essentially, we got the kids together on a Tuesday morning, or on Tuesday afternoon. And I sat them down. This took us, I think we did this for 45 minutes, which is half of our time that we have there. And I said, all right, let's start building out teams. Let's start building this out. What are you interested in? What do you want to do? How do you want to contribute? And this whole whiteboard was the result of all of that.
That's an excellent.
It is.
Yeah.
So
And this.
I have sloppy handwriting, clearly, so I apologize. Go ahead.
But I was just going to say, but out of that 40-minute gathering with all the students, this is what, we were able to develop. And I really like the mentoring piece. Like I said, I mentioned that before. This one's up here, so we still are waiting for, students to actually sign up for that. But once we put out there, some of the positions and some of the things that we needed students to do besides gaming, that filled up quickly. So they were all excited about that. Like I said, casters, we've got one who is really really interested in doing voice, voiceover, voice acting, that kind of thing. He's pretty excellent at that. So, of course, he was his first name, the first one to sign up. The other thing over here, this is, like we said, we developed the leadership team, the 2 leaders, and then, of course, they put together their teams. But you know what? When they went ahead and did that, this was funny because I don't think we even prompted them to do that, but they walked around the room and they watched what students were doing and which ones were really strong and what games that they were strong at, and they developed their own list just based on their own observations, and I thought that was really kind of cool how that went together. Of course, we have our design team talking about, like I said, the jerseys and then the promotional materials. So this was just kind of like a blow up of the board that was in the other picture. So I really wanted to kind of pinpoint some of the things that, you know, like I said, it's just not sitting at the computer and just gaming. There are just so many other things that really happen with this whole environment. And then, of course, the last slide. One thing I did want to mention is that, you know, there is a middle school esports league. And that's grades 6 through 8. So eventually we're going to get our middle school students up to par so they can, if this pans out, they can go ahead and they can compete at that level. And then our high school students 9 through 12. So, I mean, like I said, we're just beginning. This is really morphing into something really exciting. I know the kids are exciting. Our attendance, I mean, kids are there. You know, I mean, it's amazing. They're waiting at the door for me to open the door to get in there. So, and that's nice to see. So the enthusiasm of the students and everything else is really kind of cool. So,
from a coaching aspect, I've coached other teams before. The level of excitement from the players, from the students, is like nothing I've ever seen before. And I mean, me being a super nerd too, like I jumped at the chance to just try and be a part of this, even if it was remotely. And I'm lucky enough to actually be one of the advisors on this team. So I want to thank the board once officially. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity.
People have questions?
yeah.
I have a couple questions. You were gonna get back to what the Twitch was? Oh, I think I know
Oh, okay.
what I'm
So
not-
part of the esports realm, besides social media, is streaming. Twitch is the main platform for that. So what we've developed is teams, because I'm not that great at it. I'm not a streamer. I'm not a caster. But I really want the kids to be a part of this. They know the ins and outs of these things already. So why not have them educate me, educate us, and really take the charge. We have ideas for potential competitions within the school. One thing we'd like to do is get the parents involved in this by watching. How do you watch something like this? Our room is not big enough to have all the parents in huddling over looking at a little monitor like that. So Twitch is really the platform that we want to use to really bring that experience to the parents. How we do that and the logistics we're still working on. We've thrown an idea around about maybe doing something in the cafeteria for the parents. Mr. Sales has mentioned about we have the potential to bring in larger screens so we can stream it to the parents. They'll hear the casters. We basically have a production team, like on a TV set, going around and showing the players and commentators on board. So it's exciting stuff, but that's kind of a long answer to your question.
That's okay. That's why I was
Twitch is
thinking
just
that
a
it was
platform.
something about streaming it, so that's why I was curious how that was used or going to be used. And the other question, I know when we first started talking about this was that, you know, this might also be something to help with attendance issues. And so I was wondering if anybody had looked at that yet.
Well, that's actually one thing that we had talked about today. You know, I mean, this is a team just like any of the other sports teams. So, you know, it's tapping into seeing, you know, where students, you know, where they are. Are they passing all their classes? You know, do they need some additional help? Do they need, you know, some tutoring, anything along that line? You know, I'm more than willing to help, you know, in any area that they need. But it's one thing that, you know, like I said, we really want to zone in and make sure that academically they're doing what they're supposed to be doing so that they can participate in this. So that is, like I said, it is something that we're going to develop. I have to make sure that I can access all the stuff that I need to access, you know, double check on some of the students. Some of the students I already have. So just to make sure, like I said, that they're academically eligible to be on the team. And we've talked to them about that. So they know. They know that we're going to be checking. They know that we're going to hold them accountable for their grades and to make sure that, you know, academics is first, esports is second.
Okay, thank you.
How often, do we meet every week?
We do. We meet right now we're just meeting 2 days a week. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We pretty much have kind of had to split it just a little bit. So Tuesdays, our high school group comes in, and then Wednesdays, we have the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders come in, and then whatever high school students wants to, actually come in, maybe this is kind of like where the mentoring is gonna take place, and just kind of work with the middle school on Wednesdays. So pretty much Tuesdays, high school, Wednesday, middle school.
From 1 to 1?
3 to 4:30. We've talked about adding an additional day. And I mean, the kids are all for this, we've
Of course
asked
they
them.
were.
Oh, yeah, but no, it was Friday, so we were talking like, because his schedule, Mondays and Thursdays, is really hard for him to get there, so we're like, okay, so what about Fridays? And the kids were like, yeah, I mean, we'll be here, so, I don't know when we're gonna open that up, but, we've had discussions about that, so potentially 3 days a week.
And something that we've been thinking about for the fall is with working with Elite Gaming, the season actually runs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's 4 days a week come the fall competition time. It's 2 weeks of preseason, 8 weeks of regular season, 2 weeks of postseason.
Yes.
So
And that's-
we're working up on what the plan for the fall is gonna look like. We know our time commitment is gonna have to be much higher than it currently is. But
So
it's
you're
all
really gonna be
benefit.
coaches come fall.
Yeah.
Another, esports, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's
Really
just the
after-
fall, there's also this, so
And spring,
Elite
fall.
Gaming has a fall and a spring season, so this is one of the few opportunities that kids have as far as participation goes. Football players, that's all in the fall. Soccer's fall, tennis, spring. This is essentially all year long. And there's also opportunities for summer camps as well.
Our understanding too is before the end of this school year, we might be able to schedule a time, it looks like, where we can go down to Elite Gaming's facility in Syracuse, which is, they're opening a brand-new facility next month that's tripling in size because it's become such a big thing regionally. And so we might have a chance to bring our students down there, parents, to be able to actually be in that setting, because it's a pretty impressive venue. Well, I haven't seen the new one, but the other one was impressive, and this is going to be 3 times the size, so it's going to be bigger and better and pretty cool. But I just really want to thank Valerie and Chris, because it's not easy, as I think people know, it's not easy to start something new. So we're really starting this from scratch. There's a lot of interest and enthusiasm, but it's still new. There's not a perfect blueprint of how to do something that's brand new, so they've really been enthusiastic and positive, and so just really appreciate your work and enthusiasm for getting this introduced. And said, next fall, hopefully we'll be taking the next step in being able to compete regionally and having teams at different levels. So really exciting, and thank you for putting all the energy and work into making it, helping it get off the ground.
Thank you. Anybody else? Building updates.
Who's starting?
Well, Mr. Schultz is standing up, so we'll let him start. I think, I don't know, maybe he started the last time.
We did, I think we went reverse.
Well, you were standing, so I
Probably
said.
should. I'm excited today. It's very exciting. All right, 3 things. Well, this is great. It's kind of hard to follow this, like so many things going well, but I've got 3 updates I wanted to tell you about. First of all, real simple. We had a great little hot chocolate gathering last week for our high honor roll students. About 70 students showed up between the 3 lunches, which was very nice. We'll continue to recognize them and work forward on that. The other thing I want to talk about, after-school program is in its 3rd week, grades 3 through 8. About 87 students signed up, so it's moving along well. It's been great over in 3rd grade in particular, because this is the first time we've done in 3rd grade, and that team over there of teachers is phenomenal. Just a phenomenal group, outstanding. Working with them. Our team here was outstanding in the fall, and they still are this spring, but it's nice to join with the 3rd grade. That was great. The last one I want to talk about is, how could I not mention anything about the musical? How could I not? It's one of those situations where you sit in the audience, the Beauty and the Beast musical, and you see so many things going on from the back of the auditorium, working with Kyle, and the number of students that were involved in the technical aspects of the play was phenomenal, making it even more amazing, even right up to the narrator. In fact, I looked over often, I don't know how many times, I didn't really see Mr. Bunio back there much. Students were running a lot of it. That's really important for a production. Students on the stage were outstanding. One of our students was, at least one of our students was in the pit band, from going from percussions and the drums to the actual play, coming back and forth, and sounding as professional as anybody else. And then, of course, the students, the stage crew, phenomenal work they did, behind the scenes, if you will, no pun intended, but also the actual students themselves in the performance. What Mr. Bunio did, Ms. Miller, team there, in preparing them for this was phenomenal. It was just an outstanding performance, but I have to mention the ending. After it all, after the applause, and the students were doing a wonderful job recognizing each other and just their gratitude. One of our students, in his gratitude, mentioned the fact that it was his first year in this production, with this cast, and he wished he had done it before. But one of the things that captured my attention on Saturday evening when he said it was that being with this cast, or with this group of people, made him the happiest in his life. I thought, that captures what this is about. That captures what it's about for our students. That they would take, that a student who just came in 1 year, not many years, would have that feeling that you don't get by just one practice. It's something that's part of the culture that is here in these performances with these students. It's a culture that's been going on for years. And so with Mr. Bunio, Mr. Button in the pit band, leading that charge, I mean, these are things that are just worth talking about again, and reinforcing the great work that our teachers have done so that our students can actually break out of their shells and be comfortable wherever they want to be. Some were very, very comfortable in the back, and they did an outstanding job. Stage crew, or right on the extra performance. So I just want to congratulate that entire group, Mr. Bunio leading the charge, Mr. Button, Ms. Miller, and the others. Just an outstanding group, and I just wanted to say that was just a highlight. It was outstanding. I was telling, I wish there was more acts. I wish they just kept going, but I knew how to end it as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, yeah, kudos to Mr. Schultz, and I know we spoke a lot of about the musical, but our kids would also go, and Robert Street students, to see the preview, and I could just tell by the preview it was going to be a solid show. And I feel like I'm kind of an expert in the Beauty and the Beast, because I told the kids that was both my girls' favorite musical. So it became Dad's favorite musical 20 times after. So, but talk about knocking out of the park. So kudos to all the staff and everyone who made that happen. All right, back to Robert Street. So our PTO on the 25th, we're hosting game night. What it is, it's a combination of large games and small games. We've got the large games in the gymnasium. We've got the smaller board games in both of the cafeterias. We're going to have beverages. We're going to have some food. We did this last year. It was a big hit. So as long as the kids are coming, we're going to do it. And we got a great turnout for that. So, and again, that's on the 25th. On the 26th, we've got a presentation here from Hawk Creek. And what they do is a presentation about the wildlife, specifically birds of prey. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for kids to learn a lot more actually, about what's out there. And we've had them here now, Hawk Creek, for a few years. They're stationed out of Montezuma. You know, I don't know if you've ever been through there, but they do a really nice job, and kids love the interactive components of that. So that's going to be in the auditorium. If anyone wants to get a chance to come out, it's 10:45 until 12:15. So if you want a little bird experience, come on out. And we also had an assembly on vaping, which was a little bit, a different end of our curriculum. Very informational. Just like anything else, it's about the presentation. The presenters were very good understanding our audience, so they mirror it to grades 4, 5, and 6. So I thought they did a really nice job. Sometimes we get presenters and they kind of talk over the kids. Kids are like, what are you talking about? So, but they do a real nice job. So we've had them back now for a couple, 2, 3 years. And I guess the amazing part is, not in a good way, it's amazing what the kids already know about vaping, you know, but they hit on a real comprehensive overview of, you know, things that we've got to be careful about. Not only that, they incorporate things also like being able to be a good citizen if they hear or see or smell anything, like, for example, within the building, what to do. So I like that component. And the last thing I want to just mention is we just had our practice test. Now we have 2 practice tests. We do one in ELA and one in math. So the ELA practice test we had on the 5th, and we have the math practice test on the 28th. I don't know how much you know about the practice test, but the purpose behind the practice test is it's a simulation of the actual state test. Okay, so with ELA, obviously, we try to make it as close as possible to the ELA state test. Same thing with math. And really what we're trying to do is we're trying to assess any state testing administrative deficiencies so we can get better. And I got to tell you, when we did the ELA practice test, we found some deficiencies. So now we're going to improve upon that with our math practice test, and you better believe it, when it comes to the state test, there can't be any deficiencies. You gotta be on your game. So, yeah, so we tidied some things up. Lastly, one of the nice things about the practice test, it gives the teachers kind of a last-ditch effort to know where are our soft spots, because what they do is they do a item analysis from those tests. And what it does, it gives the teachers feedback like, all right, what are my students in that classroom, what areas do they still need to improve on? You know, the area where I think, so for them, it's potential gaps, weaknesses regarding their current comprehension, but also test readiness. Are my kids ready for these tests? So it's really, it's an opportunity for the administrative part of it, but again, the other component is the curricular piece, and that is, are my kids ready? Or do I need to go back right before the test and hit on these particular concepts before the exam? I think that's it for now. So thank you and have a great evening.
So I'm so excited that I get to present the updates for the Southside building for the first time ever, so.
And we overlap a lot.
We overlap a lot, so I'll start by talking about some Southside specific things. We'll then join in the things that we have together, and Ms. Carnahan will finish.
For
up
those
with
of you who don't know, this is Mrs. Karen Henner, who is our,
I'm pretty sure
probably you know everybody, but maybe there's people out there on the TV that don't know.
Oh, so I'm going to start first by saying thank you to, I think it's been a very smooth transition for the teachers and the students as I have kind of assumed that role. And I want to also extend a thank you to Ms. Carnahan and Ms. Nugent, because they've kept me afloat, keeping in constant collaboration, and the staff at Southside has really helped me to not drop as many balls in the air as could happen. Just little things, you know. They've been great. Kate Gillespie is just a hoot and a half to have on my team, and I'm so thankful to have everybody there, from instructional and non-instructional. It's been great. Not to repeat what Mr. Sajnok said completely, but we did also do a 3rd grade practice test last week. We ran it over 2 days, a session 1 and a session 2, so that it would mimic the actual state test really to a T. You know, same ideas. There's the administrative logistical piece that we've worked out bugs for, and also the test analysis for curriculum, which is really important. Our teachers will be doing that analysis this week on our Superintendent's Day, and then again in April when we have a half-day staff development day, so that's exciting. I'm not going to repeat all that other stuff, right? Also, to just kind of piggyback on what Mr. Schultz said about the after-school program, we actually have, how many students did you say total, like 80? 87 from 3 to grade 8, and we have 34 of them at Southside. And it's been great. There's 34 right now. We had a couple leave, a couple come back, and also just want to add to the team of teachers that we have there. They really took the initiative to really coordinate and orchestrate the instruction that was taking place. They've grouped students based on their needs. We have a special education teacher working with a group of students that need that extra reinforcement, and then we have 4 other groups of students that are either receiving reinforcement of skills to help prepare for ELA and math, and also an enrichment group, which I know our 3rd grade teachers have been looking forward to doing a lot. So the next few things will be the stuff that we share at K3. So
Yeah. We had a decent turnout for Sweet Treat Bingo on the 27th of February. So good turnout, 30, 40-ish kiddos and parents. We had lots of dads come with their kiddos for that, so that was great to see. So that was a project in conjunction with PTA and Connected Community Schools. We also kicked off PARP is, the month of March is our big parents or people as reading partners. We call it Canastota Reads at the pre-K3 level. So we brought out an oldie but a goodie, The World According to Humphrey. So I don't know if any of you remember reading that with your kiddos, but back in 2018. So it's brand new to all of our kiddos, but it was the first title that we did for One School, One Book. So that is very well received, meant to be, reading, a time for families to come together and snuggle up and read that. Certainly not all of our kiddos. It's a chapter book, so not all of our littles are able to read that. But we've got some really great feedback. Kids are earning prizes, answering some comprehension questions, and we are enticing them in the morning with some great things on the announcements too.
And we kicked off that season by having our very own Liz Metzger from the public library. I'm sorry, we had Humphrey, the hamster, come over and kick it off with the kids. So this person's waddling into the school, and I'm looking out the window. I knew she was coming, but I couldn't connect that. What is this coming through the school? And as she got closer and closer, I saw Liz's face in the hamster costume, and it was too cute. Got me excited about reading The World According to Humphrey.
Last week we had a couple of special nights at school where pre-Kers and their families came back for some nighttime events. Our theme was transportation and things that go. That was very well attended. And kids always think it's the greatest thing when they get to come back to school at night and when it's dark out, right? And not everybody's there, so they were doing fun stuff in the hallway. And I want to highlight that over February break, the Capital Outlay project at Peterborough Street got underway for our new VCT, so our new tile in 5 classrooms at Peterborough. So kudos to the teachers for packing up and then unpacking again, and all of our cleaners and maintenance guys and the flooring guys were just a pleasure to work with. So we're looking forward to doing 4 more rooms over April break, and then we'll tackle the rest over the summer. But well on our way. They are bright, they are clean, they're beautiful. It looks like we put an addition on all of the rooms. So it makes you want to paint next, of course, but it's great. And I think we should highlight in fashion with the musical talk, Belle came and captivated Peterborough Street and Southside kiddos the day before on the 7th of March. So even before we came over for the preview, which is such a treat for them, right, coming to a real show, but breakfast and arrival and then music classes and then walking through the hallways, we have some little honeys that will never, ever forget that. And to know Nicole is to love Nicole, and she just really took the time, and it was a wonderful, wonderful coordination there.
We had a lot of little girls.
Yes,
who
wore their bells.
It was too cute.
So, yeah. And then the only other thing I'll say about Peterborough Street is that my kindergarten team is working on a community service project right now, rainbows and shamrocks and some fun spring stuff that will be going to our friends at Oneida Healthcare to brighten up their days a little bit. So,
thank you.
New business, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve FFA's request to attend the New York State FFA Overnight Convention in Buffalo, New York, May 2nd through the 4th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the financial services agreement with physical advisors effective March 5th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the May 21st, 2024 reserve fund proposition. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. 4, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the following art college courses from OCC. Art 115, Art 219, taught by Melissa Polkovich, effective for the 2024-2025 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the following college courses: sports management and business courses from MVCC, taught by Jacob Smith, effective 2024-2025 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Motion carried. No, we didn't have a vote. How can I have a motion carried? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Student board member update. Our young ladies are recovering probably.
We could have a former student board member update.
We appreciate you coming back to see us though. Committee reports. Shall we start with facilities?
Has not met since our last board meeting.
We have a meeting like at the end of the month,
20,
right?
yeah, the 27th will be our next meeting.
Finance.
We met just to discuss some preparations for upcoming contractual negotiations.
Policy.
Has not met.
Safety.
Has not met.
Academic.
Has not met in total, although I'm not sure after the informational session. Did you go, English, Sean, Jen? Okay.
As we say, I went, so.
There we go, committee of one now. I have an update on how the FAC is doing though. They had their first meeting, which I heard was very productive. They went over an overview of the committee structure with the new members, just to get everyone on the same page. There was a desire for more committee onboarding, a more firmed up process for that, not just for FAC, but different committee vehicles in the district in general. And that might be able to be worked into mentoring. They talked about the use for like a frequently asked questions document to be generated through these different FAC meetings. They're looking at an update for teacher handbooks potentially, which used to be updated more and more frequently than they are now. And a desire for more substitute teacher training, which we might be able to do through BOCE's Health and Safety Services. That's how their first meeting went. Covered a lot of items.
Yes. Thank you. Is there anything more on mascots lately?
We sent our letter was sent to the state, the assistant commissioner who we had had a conversation with. So we're eagerly awaiting a response from the state to see how they view the case that we made. So again, our committee, which it met a couple of times, sort of on hold. We'll see to what degree we need to get that going again, but we didn't want to waste people's time while we were waiting for a response from the state. So just don't have exact timeline of when we anticipate a response, but it's been sent, so
Keep
we'll
our fingers
see
crossed.
what happens.
Board comment period. Does anybody? Go, start with Scott, then we'll go to Maureen. Go.
I just want to echo Mr. Schultz's comments on the musical and commend the student, staff, parents, and volunteers for making the production such a huge success. I heard Friday sold out. I went on Saturday. The house was packed. There was a very prolonged standing ovation, well-deserved, in my opinion. I'm just really thankful for that our students get to take part in such an excellent program and production. So thank you to everyone involved. Good job.
It's the same comment I had, so ditto to that. I went on Friday, it was great on Friday also.
Between the two of us, we got it covered.
Yeah.
I went on Saturday, so same thing.
And you worked hard.
We were there.
Yes,
We were there. We were there. Long nights.
They lived it.
Anyone else?
I was just gonna say one thing while Coach is still here. I think one thing that's important when we have these faculty spotlights, it's nice to be recognized for our faculty, for the things they're doing in the classroom. And I think, Coach Layla, you do one thing that's above and beyond. And I think a lot of our staff is mentors to a lot of our students, and I think that's something that's really important. And we're not just teaching kids. To this day, I still can't say GYM class. It's PE. I think I have to get out and do push-ups. But it goes a long ways. So tonight, well-deserved by all of our staff that's recognized in that manner. It's not just about what you do in the classroom. I think it goes and speaks volumes to what you guys do outside the classroom as well. You touch a lot of hearts and people beyond just reading, writing, arithmetic, and that's recognized. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Superintendent.
Echo the comments about the musical. I thought it was fantastic, and it was packed. So I know a lot of people got a chance to enjoy it. So congratulations to all the students, all the parents who had supported the process, and our staff who led the charge on that. So just a great showcase of the talent that's in Canastota. So congratulations. I'm going to go back to Coach Laidlaw as well for a second, because we talk about expectations, and again, I think talk is cheap. Anybody can say anything, but we talk a lot about expectations. I think it's important that we highlight and use as an example the people whose actions have led to great achievement. And so, we need to reflect on people like Coach Laidlaw, who is, you don't get to, what is the number, Stan?
1,488.
Yeah, 1,488 victories. You don't get that by sitting on the couch and talking about theory or giving your opinion from you get that from rolling your sleeves up and getting things done and being a example to our students. And so that's, I think, the type of approach and mentality that we really want to recognize, that you're about getting things done and doing it. So thank you for giving us the example that not only the adults, but the students and everybody in the community can point to is, yeah, that's the winningest coach around, right? And she's at Canastota. And she represents something that's representative of us. High expectations, finding a way to get things done. Not about excuses, it's about getting it done. So thank you for what you've done. Hard to follow an example like that, so thank you. So as we're with an eye towards what's on the horizon here, and you can see some of the things that we've been working on, trying to simultaneously work on foundation building, so we know we're doing the small things well, the things that are going to lead us to great results, and then we want to do innovative things and interesting things that draw kids in so that they get excited about learning. And so this Friday, for example, months into the year and right in the thick of things, a lot of Friday staff development day, while it's a day off for students, staff is really going to be engaged with a lot of work that's foundation building. That's built, making sure that we're paying attention to the detailed pieces of how we have the best instructional program possible. So departments will have significant amounts of time together, grade levels that will have significant amount of time together, and part of that work is going to involve talking about things literally at a very basic, simple level of what are the most important things that students need to know, understand, and do. What is a good result of a Canastota education? So kids get a good day, a nice long weekend, but we're going to get some good work done centered around the idea of foundation building. And then you see an example of trying to generate excitement from students when Ms. Ray and Mr. Mastriano talking about that brand new program, getting kids excited about esports. We've had people say, why in the world, again, are you doing something, having kids play video games? That is definitely not what it is. And I think you just got an initial taste of all of the different things in which that not only motivates students' motivation, but pathways into any number of careers. And I think you guys are doing a great job of making that connection. This is bigger, thinking about it, some of the award ceremonies that happen, movies, you know, and music and all those things. This industry is bigger, which we learned, which I did not know until we started researching it, but this is a bigger revenue-generating industry, the gaming industry, than the film and music industries combined. So think about what we're saying. So we're missing the boat if we're not engaging in these types of activities, because that's where the world is now, and that's what gets kids excited. And if you see, I mean, kids are really excited about it, and we're just scratching the surface. So continue to do, it's good to see those programs developing. They didn't exist, you know, just a short time ago, and looking forward to seeing that growth. So speaking of then showcasing those types of activities, next Wednesday at Madison Oneida BOCES is the annual School Board Institute Showcase, where we will have an opportunity to show some of the things that are happening in Canastota. And know, of course, Mrs. Garofalo is going to be involved with that event, and a number of us are going to be participating. Some students are going to be participating, but we'll have a chance to demonstrate some of the things that we're developing and working on at our school, and have a chance to see what other schools and other students are doing, so that maybe we can learn about some good ideas and things that we can introduce as well. So I don't know, Mr. Gustin, what am I missing on that?
It is all 9 school districts and industries that are showcasing. Last year was a very small one at Herkimer BOCES. Madison Oneida usually puts a big one on, and we have the privilege this year of doing it. It starts at 5 o'clock with a dinner at 6:30 for participants. Hope everybody gets a chance to come out. The last time we did it, I think it was the Make and Take from Southside School 3 years ago when we did it. But hope everybody gets a chance to come out. Thank you.
So we're looking forward to that. Our community forum series will continue. We offered the session on sort of a wide range of topics. We'll continue to make those topics available and have different presentations, from academic to we have another one coming up on state aid, which Tracy gets excited about talking about. So, so we're trying to get some different topics that a wide range of people will find something for them that they're interested in, and that is on the 25th as well. A number of things on the 25th, and so it's going to be a busy day around the school. And this final word, as we sit here in March with an eye towards the budget, right? Because are we heading towards an on-time budget? Certainly not expecting it. Every word, every piece of information we're getting from our representatives is that it's probably not even going to be close to an on-time budget. It may not be missing by a day or two. It may be weeks and more, which presents challenges and problems. I think there's been some activity today in the form of a legislative proposal, which I haven't had a chance to see.
The Senate and the Assembly came out with their one budget today.
Yeah. So we'll see where we land, because we, as we've said pretty vocally, governor's budget was not looking good at all. The legislative budget came out. We'll see where we end up, so we'll continue to analyze that information, continue to work with our elected officials and try to have a handle on where things are. But I guess the point is, we knew that this day was coming. We knew that we were moving towards a time when federal money was going to start to move away, and we knew that we needed to be as efficient and sort of lean and mean as possible so that we can offer good programs in a way that's responsible to our taxpayers. So that's the process we're engaged in, and we'll see where and when we actually have a state budget. So we'll continue to keep everyone updated as our meetings go forward. That's what I had.
Keep the pressure on, right?
That's right.
Personnel appointments, recommendations, and all appointments are pending clearance on fingerprinting. Can I do these all together? Because they're all the same except for the people's names.
I would do those separate.
Separate,
the
everything
substitute
separate?
appointments we can do together, but the rest of
Okay.
it we do
Yeah.
separate.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Kelly Emmons' letter of resignation from her school monitor/aide position effective March 8th, 2024 at the end of the day. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Robert Esposito's irrevocable letter of retirement as a business teacher effective June 30th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Susan O'Neill's irrevocable letter of retirement as a special ed teacher effective June 30th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Stephen Luby's irrevocable letter of retirement as a science teacher effective June 30th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Stephen Button's letter of retirement as a music teacher effective July 1st, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Donna Carhart's letter of intent to retire effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Mary Elizabeth McGrath's letter of intent to retire effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Linda Ceresia's letter of intent to retire effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Carrie Malbuff's letter of intent to retire effective at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. permanent appointment. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve Stephanie Shirley as a permanent food service helper at $16.28 an hour effective March 13th, 2024, with a 26-week probationary period. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Substitute appointments. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint the following substitutes. Christopher Wessel as a non-certified substitute teacher at $110 a day effective March 13th, 2024, and Alexandra Morrow as a non-certified substitute teacher at $110 a day effective March 13th, 2024. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Deb, I'm
Abstention?
abstaining from that one.
Mark is abstaining.
Yeah.
Coaching. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Thomas Congdon as the spring weight room advisor effective March 11th, 2024 through June 7th, 2024 at the co-curricular amount at $4,748. Motion?
Deb, just to
Second?
correct, please, that needs to
Whoops.
say winter and spring. Winter and spring.
Oh.
It's winter and spring together, yes. Correction.
Oh, winter and spring?
Yes.
Oh. Winter and spring it should read?
Yes,
Okay,
thank
winter
you.
and spring. Weight room advisor effective March 11th, 2024 through June 7th, 2024 at the co-curricular amount of $4,748. Motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Other, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Jacob Smith to be our high school FBLA advisor effective March 1st, 2024 at $2,195 prorated. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Public comment period. Do we have anyone who submitted a sheet?
I have not gotten a sheet, no.
No. All set. Future dates. Special board meeting on March 26th, 2024 at 6:30 PM in the high school media center. May I have a motion for executive session to discuss negotiations and personnel?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Do we have a time? 7:58. Who made the motion? Scott?